Chair.
Ms. Gray.
Just want to kind of follow up on that because I concur with Felicia and Don in terms of there probably have been conversations, certainly in the work sessions, that may be different than what has been sent to you in terms of your report. So how do you bridge that gap? I mean, if it's out there and it's very important, how do you include it in a summary of these are the concerns which obviously the council will have to consider when we look at the sixth draft and make the decision. So how do you integrate that into the summary of concerns?
This is one tool that is going to be used by the chapter authors and by in forming the sixth draft, but they also were in attendance at the workshops. They have heard all of that. In order to, the task for John and Bob would have been humongous if we had asked them to go back and review the video record, the summaries of workshops, the oral comments heard, interview folks. So their product here is based on the written record. The sixth draft will be based on both the comments that are written, the comments that are verbal, the comments that have come in the EIR. All of that will be reflected, and as we begin to walk through what are the issues that the council needs to consider moving forward to a sixth draft, that will be a blending of all of that.
I think it's probably wise to note that Mr. Curlin and Mr. Twist are not writing the sixth draft Delta plan, as best I understand it.
That's right.
And they were asked to critique how we got to the fifth draft Delta plan and the implications and their observations, which I found pretty interesting because I'd forgotten some of this stuff, and the trend lines were not as clear to me as they are now. But they weren't asked to do that final process, and I don't know, Joe, at some point you could do it now. You may want to do it at our next meeting, which I gather is 2 days in early February and 2 days in later February. But it's anticipating the changes, but following, of course, Mr. Stevens' comment that we're not trying to direct anything prior to the close of the EIR comment period for all the obvious reasons. But